Chris here from the Off-Grid Skoolie and Tiny Home Tours. Right now you're actually in my Skoolie right now. Today's video features Wes. Wes is one of the OGs of the roof raise. My particular roof raise was modeled off his design, as well as many others out there doing roof raises on YouTube. Wes actually lives full-time on the road right now, traveling the US doing roof raises for different people's Skoolies. He has skills on the road. That's how he's able to be on the road and be able to make an income. Just like me, I have online skills. If you are looking to develop some skills of your own, if this lifestyle is something that you are seriously considering, I highly suggest you check out today's sponsor, Skillshare. They're an online platform that has over 16,000 different courses that you can take. I personally have been on Skillshare learning how to do different SketchUp drawings, different CAD drawings. I actually have in the link down below a model of my bus, as well as the first half of Wes's bus. The first 500 people that sign up with the link down below with Skillshare will get Skillshare for 2 months free. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week.
Hey everyone, my name is Wes Lewis. This is my bus Transcendence. Come on in for the tour. I built this with a few friends' help. You know, if you follow my videos, definitely not on my own for sure. We require friends to do a lot of this stuff, cabinet builders and whatnot. So my buddy Randy helped me with a lot of cabinet work in here. I had some help from some friends down in Texas with my solar. And I know I'm probably missing somebody here or there, but yeah, so mostly all done by my hands, but I definitely had some help, you know, working on different subjects on here. This is my wood burning stove. I picked this up off of Craigslist, bought it for $100. I ended up having to put some new glass in it. That was about another $100 just for that. But these things are like $700 to $1,000 if you find them brand new. So Craigslist is a great resource to finding this stuff. It was pretty rusty and pretty pitted up, but I just cleaned it up with wire brush and it fits my theme in here well. It's pretty rustic in here. So I didn't mind the kind of the rusty, you know, appeal to it. So the stove works really good for keeping this place warm. As you can tell, it's a little bigger than most of them, you know, like the cubic minis and stuff like that that people use. Those do work good, but you have to feed the fire a little more often than this. So this will hold a bigger coal for a longer period of time. So middle of the night, you just get this thing going, or before the middle of the night, you get this thing going before bed. And in the middle of the night, you don't have to wake up to stoke the fire or anything. It's pretty cool too. I've got, there's some ashes in here. I didn't clean it up for this interview, but I can open this up and I get some good coals going in here. And I've got this cool little grate system, and I can put this in here, set a couple logs on each side, and cook some nice steaks and stuff like that in here. Chris and I actually did some of this not too long ago, few days ago. Made some nice steaks in there. But it's really great. You can get in here and cook in the middle of winter time or whatever. You know, you can still kind of grill outdoors, so it kind of brings the outdoors indoors. It's pretty neat. So that's that. This is where I put all my wood storage. When this thing's full, it'll last, depending on how cold it is, of course, but usually about 2 to 3 weeks is about how long this will last for the wood storage. And then underneath here, I've got, this is basically just all the, you know, kindling and smaller stuff, little paper and stuff to get the fire going. So that's how that's pretty much operates. And I built this with an entire metal frame just to keep it good and sturdy for holding this big old weight. And this thing's bolted down into the metal structure of the framework here. So this is a nice little altar space. A lot of this stuff on here I've had most of my life. So there's a lot of symbolism and a lot of true meaning behind a lot of this stuff on here. So it's kind of my place that I can go to reflect on my life and future things. My pup passed away about a month and a half ago. So I've got her, you know, collar up here and a footprint of hers and everything. So it's kind of a sacred space of mine in the bus. It's very personal and I love it. Burn some sage and all that kind of good stuff. So I think we all need that spiritually, you know, we all need that stuff. So I've been an artist my entire life. I've done some really wild and wacky and crazy and cool things. But this is some of the stuff that I do. This is a old vacuum cleaner body from about the 1940s, 1950s, I'm not sure. And for me, I just kind of modeled it after like a Papua New Guinea spirit mask. So it's kind of a post-apocalyptic Papua New Guinea spirit mask. Yeah, just made it out of all kinds of different parts. Vacuum cleaner body. These are bicycle hubs, spokes, you know, went here. Some hemp cord. This is actually from an erector set. Yeah, there's bicycle and motorcycle chains up here. Just different things I just like to create and do cool stuff. So So when I enter the bus, I like to be able to take my shoes off, you know, throw some stuff up in the cabinet there. So I created a nice little shoe space here. I've got to finish a little false front here, of course, still, so it matches the drawers here. But so shoe storage there. These are my drawers and everything. We did all dovetail joints on everything. This is all maple, and they've got self-close door slides, so that kind of has a little friction to keep them from flying open while you're driving. It works really nice. So my bus is built on pretty much about 85% repurposed materials. The wood down here on the cabinets and everything is basically just cedar fencing, old privacy fencing, that I've just take all the nails out, screws, and just pressure washed and clean it up and then milled out to whatever we needed. My countertops are black walnut countertops that a friend of mine actually harvested the tree out of a river about 25 years ago and slabbed it out. So this is air-dried black walnut that's been sitting in his father's barn attic for 25 years now. So super happy I was able to use this stuff. It's all live edge, black walnut, real pretty. So on the coating on these countertops, I've used an epoxy coat on it. So I coated them in like a bar top epoxy. Bar top epoxy is very shiny, so it didn't quite fit my theme in here real well. So I went ahead and sanded the epoxy down, and I sprayed 3 coats of satin polyurethane on top of it, just to kind of dull it down a little bit, and it fits the rustic feel in here much better that way. So moving back into the bus a little bit, this is my workspace basically here. I get on the computer, video edit, just listen to music, eat my breakfast. You know, this is just kind of the general area for hanging out and looking at beautiful views out this window here. But it does fold down, and you can spin the chairs around and create more space in here for, you know, hanging out with other friends and family and whatnot. This is my couch over here, and it actually folds out into a bed that can sleep 2 people. It's just really easy. I got this frame out of an 80s RV, and I've got a hot rod buddy of mine that is an upholsterer, and I gave him the frame and he remade the cushions for me and reupholstered it for me. So it's great. I can have a couple guests hang out with me every now and then. Up here is basically just more storage, and I've got my bookshelf up here. So just a nice collection of you know, books that I like to read. Some of the things that people come in and notice in my bus are the skulls that I have around here everywhere. For some reason, I've just always been attracted to skulls. I think they're really cool. They house our brain and who we are inside. They protect us from, you know, everything, the environments and whatnot. So I think they're pretty special. But these are actually, there was a cat skull that I've re-sculpted, and I filled in all the voids, all the holes in the skull basically, and I make silicone molds of these things. And then I can pour them in a urethane resin, pop them out, clean them up, you know, sand them, make them smooth. So then I airbrush them and I paint them to look real, as realistic as possible. So they're vegan friendly skulls now. So again, this is my upper storage on the passenger side. And again, that's all repurposed materials. This metal that's on these are from a metal recycling yard that I have in my hometown in Kansas. And they allow you to walk through and just kind of pick up any old metal and whatnot for pennies on the dollar. So I like to repurpose a bunch of stuff. So these actually hinge up this way, and I've used a Craig jig to screw everything together to create the doors, and then just screw these metal panels in place. And I've got these little deals from a company called Revelock, and they're pretty cool. So this little red handle here, or goes down, it engages the lock. But then you can use this magnet to touch it, and it disengages so you can open it. So when I hit the road, I'm able just to close this, and then they can't come open at all until I come over here and disengage that with this, and then it opens up. So they work really well. So when I'm driving, or when I'm sitting still, I just disengage it, and then it works on this other little, you know, attachment point over here. Locks them in place. So I didn't really want to put a TV in this space. I don't watch much TV, and to me they're just a little unsightly in a space this small. You know, personal preference, of course. But for me, I opted to just put a projector up here. I hang a projector up on these bars underneath this fan, and it projects on a movie screen that's up front here. All right, so the entryway is right here. So this is up in the front of the bus. Driver's chair, of course, is right here. And what I've done is I've built this cool little box up here that I actually just used a window blind, just a cheap leveler window blind for my movie screen. So it folds down, just like that. And then I'm able to project the movies up onto the screen as, you know, I'm just hanging out on the couch. I'll fold it down into a bed and have a nice little place to lay down and relax and watch the movies. And I Bluetooth it onto my speaker over here. Just the sound and everything works great. Behind this is I've got a window up here in my transition area that I pulled out of a 2000 Nissan Quest minivan. And I've designed this in such a way, I actually put it on upside down rather than right side up. It just matched the contour of the compound curves of this bus almost perfectly. I've searched for 3 different salvage yards, and this was the first window that I thought would work, and I went back to the first salvage yard and grabbed this window, and it happened to be perfect, so got really lucky there. So I designed this window to actually open up, and I put a choke cable here that I can just pull, and that unlatches the latch up here, and then I can just swing this thing wide open, and it just dumps all the heat right out of here, or lets a lot of fresh air in. I mean, I can already feel it like crazy. It just comes in so nicely. So it's a pretty cool little thing that thing still opens. 0 leaks, don't really have any problems with it, no big deal. All right, we worked our way back into the kitchen now. So pretty much the same as up front, black walnut countertops. This is all repurposed wood and same metal. I've got a 3-burner propane stove, works really good, and it's got an oven in it that's pretty nice just for baking smaller items. Bake some cookies or whatever in there, works really good. Love to cook on cast iron, so my cast iron's always up here. Made a nice little spice rack up here. I think it's really nice to have your spices in one area. You know, as you're cooking, you just throw some spices in. So spice rack there, more storage for canned items. This here will be a pull-out pantry at some point. I just need to get this done. Seems like these buses are never completely done, but we're getting close. And then on this side, I've got the kitchen sink, and I wanted a deep sink in here so I could wash dishes and that sort of stuff very easily. And also being on the road, not that I can't do it in the bathtub, but sometimes throw the clothes in there and rinse them off and clean them up good and wring them out up here, you know, just in emergency situations. If I can't find a laundromat or whatnot, it works pretty good. I love the size of this sink. It works really good. I wanted to make sure when I built this I had plenty of counter space for like prepping food, chopping vegetables, all that sort of stuff. So I've got a little space here that works good. There's some out here. It's kind of a little wide area, but it's great for, you know, setting dishes as you wash or whatever. And then of course over here I've got a nice counter space for chopping veggies and preparing food. And then of course my workstation doubles as that as well. So I can just, you know, overflow can go right over there, no problem. So that was the main thing. I wanted a lot of counter space here. So I like finding old, wacky, rusty objects for things. And so this here is actually from a Case tractor. It was the toolbox from an old Case tractor. And I just put it up here for my soap storage and stuff like that. Pretty neat, little latches, and it's got these little straps on it and everything still. Just old vintage stuff. Turn it, you know, just repurpose things into something else. Pretty nice. I like the faucet here as well. It pulls out and has a spray or just a regular stream on here as well. So that's really nice for rinsing things off. And I like the streamlined look of this one. It's a little thinner. So I've got a refrigerator here. It's a pretty good size. I don't remember the exact square footage, but it's made by a company called Eco Solar Cool. And this fridge runs completely off of 12 or 24 volts only. It's pretty spacious. I believe it's like 7 cubic foot or something, but it's pretty spacious. I wish it opened the other way, but it doesn't have the availability to switch the hinges on this one. So you just deal with it. But it's been a great fridge. It keeps things really cold. Ice cream stays frozen, you know, no big deal. And I like how the freezer is compartmentalized rather than just regular shelves for everything. So it keeps everything kind of separated and in its place, especially while you're driving down the road. It holds everything together. So the floor in here is also repurposed. I used 3/4 inch plywood from aircraft pallets. And so I just disassembled them and took out all the staples and screws and whatnot and cleaned them up, and I put those on the floor here. And then I did a floor covering of just little vinyl sticky tiles. It works pretty good. I know they'll probably wear out over time just a little bit, but I think they got a nice look to it, and you can actually use a vinyl grout and grout between them, so they really almost look like real, you know, ceramic tile. They're pretty nice. The nice thing about it is if I do, say something falls down there, I put a, you know, scratch in it or whatever, I can pull each individual tile out and just pop another tile in. So I save some spare tiles for that, so it makes a nice way to just fix things really easily. All right, so this is my solar setup down here, pretty much the brains of the entire, you know, electric system of my bus. I'm 100% off grid. I've got 1925 watts of solar on the roof, and I've got a 6,000 watt Ames inverter. All right, so I've got the Midnight Classic 150, and it basically just tends to my batteries from the panels up top. It makes sure my batteries are topped off, and you know, just it's the brains of, you know, keeping the batteries in good condition. This is a combiner box over here by Midnight Classic as well, or by Midnight Solar. And basically all my panels run down and come into this, so each panel has its own breaker, so I can turn each individual breaker or each individual panel off right here on the breaker, so I can check and make sure every panel's pretty much consistent. So I've shut them all off, turn one on, you know, see how many watts it's pulling, turn it off, put the next one on, and they should be pretty comparable, you know, the whole way. So it'll let you know if you've got a real dirty panel, or, you know, if one's just, you know, not functioning correctly up there. So good way to check out your panels. I'm on a 24 volt system. I've got a 24 volt to 12 volt DC converter. So it converts everything back to 12 volts, so I can run all my lighting and that sort of stuff in here back on 12. And I've just got a standard blade fuse, you know, just like automotive or marine style blade fuse box here that, you know, each of the lights and whatnot's all wired into for the 12 volt setup. So I've got 620 amps of AGM batteries at 24 volts, and it pretty much powers me no problem. I weld, I fabricate, I grind, I do all kinds of stuff on my solar setup. So as mentioned earlier, this is a 6,000 watt inverter. It does 110 and 220. And what I do is I've wired it up in a way so I can run my air conditioner. I've got a mini split unit, and I run that on 220. It's a more efficient use of power, so it helps my batteries last longer. So this is my mini split unit for my AC, and it does heat as well. It's a Mitsubishi unit, runs on 220, again on my solar. Basically, this is the A-coil side of things with a blower motor in it, and the condenser is mounted outside on the back deck. So these lines run back to the condenser unit outside. This wall is not quite done yet, of course. What I'm going to do is do a storage wall, and it'll come out to this depth away from the wall and run all the way down the wall to where it steps back down, and from ceiling to floor. I'll have some locker doors in here. I'll have some little shelves, kind of like my spice rack that I've got over here. And I've got some framed artwork that I'm gonna go ahead and use, and the framed art will be the doors over here, you know, with some shelves behind them. So that's what this wall is gonna be. Also, this 2x4 that's up top here runs, you know, the length of my bus from front to back. And the intention on that is to cover that up with this wood as well, so it'll have the wood covered up, and then it'll overlap just a little bit and cover these LED bulbs, so I'll get more of an ambient light rather than, you know, seeing the bulbs. So just little projects that still need to happen on the bus that I haven't got quite done yet. So one interesting thing about this bus that a lot of people comment on is this Western red cedar pillar that I have here on my bedpost. I'm a didgeridoo crafter. Didgeridoos are a wind instrument from Australia, if you didn't know. So I make concert quality didges to specific tunings, and this originally was supposed to be a didgeridoo. A friend of mine got it for me, brought it from his farm and gave it to me, and after looking at it and stripping it down, and I was going to turn it into a didge, I started thinking, wait a minute, I'm going to use this in my bus. So it became a permanent fixture in here right at my bedpost rather than a didgeridoo. It's just a beautiful piece of wood, nice red cedar. So working our way back in the bus, this is my bedroom basically, and I've raised it up high. I've got my toolbox under here. It's a snap-on toolbox. I have every tool on my bus that I built the bus with other than a table saw. So there's breakdowns on the road, that sort of thing. Guys like me, guys in general, need some tools to fix some stuff. So I've got every tool in here to do that. So this kind of dictated the height that my bed was going to be. I do have a step stool that I have to get on to jump up there. just to make it a little easier. And then what happens now is I was able, since this was up high, I utilized the entire underneath space of my bed for water tanks and my water pumps and just that sort of thing. So I've also got the AC panel underneath the bed as well. So it's right here, and right here you can access it through this door here. The breakers and everything are right there. So just a utility space basically underneath my bed here. And also this is where I've got 8 AGM 155 amp hour batteries as well. So they're stored under here also. So complete utility area under the bed. Another little aspect I had to deal with on this bus and mini buses is there's wheel wells back here, a lot of times up front and in the back. So the way I negated getting over those wheel wells was by raising this area here and creating just a little raised hallway basically through this section. So my wheel well is basically right here, and I figured rather than just one little hump over the wheel well only, I'd just go ahead and extend that through here, like I said, to create a hallway. And what that allowed me to do is have these cool little spaces here on each side of the wheel well, in front and back of it, for just storage. I've got tools and screws and just all kinds of stuff in here. I imagine some of this will change up over time once I get to really organizing this thing well, but nice little place to just add extra storage. You really got to think about that where you're building small. The more storage you can have, the better. So from the bedroom area now, moving back, we get into my closet area and my bathroom space. Over here I've got it's a little tub that I pulled out of like an 80s RV as well. I actually got it out of the same RV that I got the couch out of, or the couch frame. I've got a composting toilet. Works really great. Just about every 2 months I have to dump the poo side. And the other one, a lot of people divert these down into a tank, but I didn't do that. So I got to dump that one about every week or so. Just depends on how much you use it, of course. So this is a Nature's Head composting toilet. I actually love this thing. They don't smell. They've got a little fan unit that keeps the the odors at bay pretty much. But honestly, it smells like fresh dirt when you're using it. They're awesome. They don't stink. The worst thing of this is just the pee side. When you're dumping it, that smells worse than the poo side. So I love it though. I don't have to stop hunt down a black water or somewhere to dump my black water and all that sort of thing. So you can dump this out anywhere, toss the compost area in a trash receptacle wherever you're at. Or if you know someone that's got a garden or whatever, you can further compost it and they can actually use the compost in their garden. It's humanure is what they call it. So it's pretty cool stuff. So the bathtub in here, it's kind of a cool little mini bathtub. I took it out of the same RV that I got the couch frame out of. And I absolutely love it. I can actually take a little bath providing I have the water, but I shower daily in here. I've got 100 gallons of water storage, fresh water storage. So I can use that. Usually if I stretch it out, I can get 2 to 3 weeks out of it. Works pretty good. I enjoy a shower almost every day, so sometimes it's only lasting me a week and a half to 2 weeks, but if I'm careful with it, sometimes I can make it last. This has been a real good test being out here on BLM land for sure, and just checking it out and seeing how everything functions and operates. So it's been a good thing to do. Again, the tile work that's in this bathroom here, my ex-girlfriend Delilah actually did that, and she did a great job. We actually found all the tile work or all the tile in a dumpster in our hometown. So check out dumpsters, check out all kinds of places. You never know what you're going to find. Yeah, a whole bunch of really good free tile. So I've also got an instant hot water heater that I use. It's a propane powered one, and it works really good. Heats water up really nice. Just control the temperature with adding some cold water to it, and it works no problem. Really efficient on the propane as well. For cooking and heating water, 120-pound tank lasts me about a month and a half or so, sometimes even a bit longer. So I'm really happy with the efficiency of the propane setup that I've got here. Moving back a little bit, I've built these little cabinets, I guess, and they just store, Q-tips and just bathroom accessory stuff. Down here I've got a trash can, just kind of stores all that sort of stuff, and I've got my peat moss for my toilet as well down here. So moving back a little bit from the storage here, I've got closets, and basically what I did is I was going to do built-ins like I did in my kitchen area, just built-in cabinet or built-in drawers with slides and everything. I was kind of getting a little impatient per se, and I wanted to get the build done, and I was about ready to hit the road. So I made it a little simple, and I just made some plywood doors, and I just used some Sterilite plastic containers for all my clothes and everything, and it's worked out really good. I'm actually happy I did it. So these are both my closet areas. I've got containers on the top and the bottom. This one here as well. So just nice. Oh, that one's locked. But anyway, that's basically what I've done here for my closet space, and all 4 of these doors are exactly the same pretty much, with a set of these containers with 3 drawers. So coming back from the bathroom area, coming outside actually through this door now, I've created a 5-foot deck back here. Need to put a little oil on that door. But I've created a nice little 5-foot deck back here. It's 5 foot by about 7'6" or so. And I've got these 2 ramps, and I'm able to put the ramps there, and I've got a little motorcycle that I just parked my bike up here on. It's a CM400T Honda, highly modified, built it basically like an enduro, and so I can take it out on the dirt trails and all that good stuff, street legal as well. So this deck actually houses, I have 3 military water containers back here. You can see them better on the back side, of course, but extra water storage back here. So I've got 15 gallons of extra water storage in case of emergency. And then I've got my mini split condenser unit back here as well, down in the corner here. For the AC unit, of course. So basically I'm an artist, fabricator. I build high-end hot rods, and worked in the aircraft industry. But mainly I like to focus on a lot of art and stuff like that. So this is the captain's chair, and this is my little friend that kind of stares at me down the road all the time as I'm driving. So yeah, this is a baboon skull that I had laying around for about 15 years or so. And I just kind of set it up on the shelf, didn't really know what I was going to do with it. Of course, a lot of you have probably seen the movie Mad Max, so this was definitely inspired by the Mad Max movie. I just love skulls, I love creating art, and so I did kind of a steampunkish, post-apocalyptic styled steering wheel for my rig here. I also do a lot of other found object art as well that we'll show you here in a bit. So anyway, yeah, this is where I head down the road. So this area works really good for me. I've got a Kenworth seat that I got from a Kenworth retailer. I put my GPS right here, so it works really nice. This has got a Cummins 5.9 in it, with an AT545 transmission. Transmission's not ideal, it's not too bad, but I am going to do a 643 swap and possibly a Cummins 8.3 swap. I'll find out here before too long, see how that goes. But yeah, mostly this area is really comfortable for drive down the road. I made these little, actually a buddy of mine made these curtains for me, so put those down at night. They're insulated, they're made with painter's tarp, and there's a moving blanket inside of them, so it sandwiches painter's tarp, and it creates a nice insulating factor, you know, at nighttime, and it's a blackout as well, so it works really good for sleeping and keeping out the street lights and whatnot if I'm in town. This is my rear view camera, and it's made by a company called Coolwoo. It works really good. I've actually just reconfigured some of these switches to do different things. They used to be for all the lights and stuff like that was on the bus that I've taken off. So I've just reconfigured them for different objects or different things on the bus. So I can just pull this out and that turns on, and that shows right behind me, so I can back up, no problem with this thing. Works really good, getting yourself in tight situations and whatnot. Backup camera. Got to have one on one of these big rigs for sure. So up in the top up here, I've basically took apart some school gym lockers and used them for doors up in this area. This is a nice little area for storage. You know, I have merch such as stickers and stuff like that. So most of that stuff is up here, all my stickers and, you know, miscellaneous stuff that I give away to people or sell, you know, depending on where I'm at. So it's just a great little place. Map storage here, little cubby for, you know, route ice and stuff like that. And this is where, of course, I'm bald headed, so this is my beanie collection pretty much in here. Beanies and gloves. Just, it's right by the front door, so it's easy when I come in and just throw everything in there, call it done. And just some extra storage over here for miscellaneous anything So thanks for watching the tour. I truly appreciate you guys and everyone on my channel. You can find my channel at Transcend Existence. It's also on Facebook and Instagram as well, Transcend Existence. What I'm basically doing is I'm traveling around the country now helping other people do their buses as well. Chris and I are going to team up with some projects here real soon. And he'll probably be traveling around with me as well to do this stuff for other people. But I've really enjoyed it. It's a good time. It's offered me to meet a lot of cool people, explore the country as I'm doing it, and bringing other people's dreams to fruition as well. So it's been a fun project. I'm hoping I can maybe settle down, maybe in the summer months somewhere a little cooler, you know, and start doing a lot of my artwork as you see in the video here. And I'm hoping to have some of that up for sale as well, along with my didgeridoos also. I want to create those on the road and have those up for sale to help sustain my life on the road as well. So yeah, thanks for following, guys. Keep doing what you're doing, and have a good day.